Okay, welcome back. And in this module, what I'm going to be taking you through is I'm going to be taking you through the process of how to set up conversion tracking for your Google Ads campaign. Now, obviously, conversion tracking is really important because we need to be able to know what success we're seeing with Google Ads and what campaigns are generating the conversions. Now, one thing that I will say is that if you are an e-commerce brand and you're using Shopify or WooCommerce, the conversion tracking that can be set up directly within Shopify or within WooCommerce, and both of those services or any e-commerce service that you're using will give you support. So I'm not going to be covering that area. What I'm going to be covering in here is the process of how to set up a conversion with Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics. And what this is going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to use this same principle so that you can set up tracking for any action that you want to complete on your form. So we're going to use this example where we're going to be setting up a conversion tracking for where you can send when someone completes a form that triggers as a conversion. Now, if you wanted to do like a click on an email or a landing page, it's the same process. You're just going to be changing a little part of that, and I'll show you where we're at. What I will also just show you in through here is you need to make sure that you've got a Google Analytics 4 profile set up, Google Tag Manager, your Google Ads account, and access to your website. That would mean actually the back access. So if you're managing an account on behalf of a client, you may need to work this out with them. Now, I have included a process where if you don't have your Google Analytics account and your Google Tag Manager and Ads account set up, then I'll take you through the step-by-step process, but I'm going to be picking it up from page 14. But you can go through this guide. It shows you how to set up your Google Analytics account. It also shows you the steps of this. So this is setting up your Google Analytics, entering your business details. The good thing about Google Analytics is it does take you through a step-by-step process. You can see through here, account creation, property creation, business details. So that's why I haven't doubled this up. As I said, it's fairly self-explanatory. Then it's the same process for setting up your Tag Manager account, how you do that. Now, when it comes to installing your Tag Manager into your website, there is some different options. So if you're on a WordPress, generally you can use the Google app or an app from Google, or if you're using an external site, you generally need to go to the header page script and add in the Google Tag Manager. Once again, whatever content management system you're using, so whether it's WordPress or Shopify, generally they will have some fairly easy and a lot of the time one-click setup to Google Tag Manager as well. Then it just takes you through how to set up your initial tag to make sure that is tracking on your site. All right, this is where we're gonna pick it up, is where you need to firstly link your Google Analytics 4 to your Google Tag Manager and then set up a conversion action. And the reason why we're going to be doubling this up is so that you can kind of see the process. So the first thing you'll go through and do is that when you're inside a Google Tag Manager, go to tags and then go to new. Now I've already got this in here, so I won't say this, but I'll take you through the steps. Then you go to tag configuration. You're going into Google Analytics in here and you're adding in what's called the Google tag. Now the way that you get that is that in Analytics, so I always have about 3 or 4 tabs open so I can jump between. Go to admin, click in through here, and this is where you want to be getting the measurement ID. So you copy that in Tag Manager and you paste that in there, and then you trigger that to land on all pages. So what we're doing there is we're making sure that it's triggering on all pages. Then you go through and click save. Now, after you've clicked save, what you want to be doing in through here, so you can see here's the Google tag. What I would generally do is you can do a quick test. Now, the way that you would do a quick test is that you just go to preview, copy your URL. It's going to bring up a screen called Tag Assist, and just click connect. And what you want to see through here, see how it's got tag assisted connected? That's letting us know that the tag is firing. If you don't see this, you need to go through and check some of your settings. So we'll just remove that at the moment, because what I want you to go through and do is we're going to go through the process of setting up a conversion action in GA4. The first thing we want to be doing is, as I said, we're going to be setting up this form inquiry. So what we're going to be tracking is whenever anyone fills out this form, that it'll be triggered as an event inside of Google Analytics. So the first step is add your Google Ads GA4 to Google Tag Manager. We've done that. Now what we need to do is we need to set up a conversion action. So the way that you do this is in Google Tag Manager, go to new again, and you can call this anything that you want, but we're just going to put it as form inquiry. And because we're using this in from Google Analytics, you want to be setting it up as a Google Analytics GA4 event. And then what you can do from here is, once again, you're getting your measurement ID, which we have have got from Google Analytics. Remember the measurement ID, copy that across. It's already in there. We write the form name in. And then what you can do from here, the triggering, you can do it for form submission. So let me just show you in this. If you don't want to do a form submission, what you can do is if you go into plus here, there's a whole heap of elements that you can do. So let's just say the main ones that I would do is if you wanted to do just links. So let's just say some link clicks. And let's just say you wanted it to be if they went to a thank you page. So the page URL contains thank. Some people have this set up. If they go to a form, they then go to a thank you page. So what you can then do is if anyone goes to a URL or thank you page, that's been triggering as an ad. So the way that it works is that is the tracking, and then you just decide how you want to set up the trigger. And this is where we're saying that you can pretty much set up a conversion action for whatever you want. Let's just say you want to do this for an email click, and you set it to click target. What you could do is you could use the mail to. So if we go onto our website, let's go to another website in here. Let's go to their contact page. See this email in here. If we were to press inspect, so right click inspect, you can see here the mail to reservations. You could copy that. I actually copy the link address. And then if you would add that in there, what that's then saying is that you want this to be triggered as a conversion action when anyone ever clicks on that link. So as you can see, what I want to show you is that this method that I'm showing you, you can pretty much do it for anything. And what you want to be doing is I'm going to show you the validation of the way that you do that. So the main thing is once you have set up this GA4 event, so it's all about linking Google Analytics to Google Tag Manager. The tag configuration is saying you want it from Google Analytics. And then how do you want the trigger? So we're just going to select form submission, save. And then what you want to do from there is you want to do a preview. So let's just copy this URL again. We're going to preview. Now, sometimes you may, depending on what browser you're using, see how I've got this pop-up blocked, but I'm going to allow it, and that's continue to connect. So if you do have that issue, what you sometimes need to do is just allow it to go through and then reset it. We've gone through again, and then that's allowed us to do. And then what I recommend that you do, so you can see that this tag assessment is connected. Let's actually just add in an email address. We'll actually complete the form. So I always recommend to visit the URL or complete the form or do the actual conversion action, whatever that you're actually doing. We're going to finish this because what we want to see in here, so we go back to this page and we can see this form submission that has actually fired. So we now know that that's working. So then the next thing of what you want to be doing is into Google Tag Manager. We have set this up. You want to then go through and press submit and then publish that change. So the main thing is that sometimes people will set this up and then they don't know why it's not working. The reason it's not working is because they haven't submitted the change. So really make sure that you publish that and send it through. So that's how you go through and set up the conversion action. So we've set up the conversion action. We've done all of those actions in there. We've done the testing. Now the last step is we need to import your conversion into Google Ads. So the one thing that I would say is if your Google Analytics 4 and Google Ads account are not linked, what you do need to do is inside of Google Ads where you need to go to Tools, Data Manager, Connect Product. So we go to Tools, Data Manager, and Connect Product. Now we've already got our Google Analytics set in there, but if not, you need to go into Connect Product and you'll see an option down here for Google Analytics. So you can see from here, it'll be in here. So because I've already got it connected, I can't do it again. But the way that you do it, Connect Product, and if you just type in Analytics, you'll see Google Analytics come in there. As I said, I can't show you that because I've already connected it up. The next thing you need to then do is once that's connected, you need to, inside of Google Ads, so I've already got the conversion working inside of Google Analytics, we now need to import that into Google Ads. The only thing that I would say is that if you've just set up this conversion action, keep in mind that it may take 24 hours before you see that come through. So I've had it before where I've set it up and I haven't seen it and you get all worried, but if you just wait 24 hours, then you see this process come through. So don't be alarmed if you've just set up the conversion action inside of Google Analytics if you don't see it there live straight away. The other thing that you do need to do as well is inside of Analytics, go into Admin, go into Events, and see here it's got mark as a key event. I've got this form submit. You need to switch that over to a key event. Otherwise, you won't see it inside of Google Ads. So make sure you're seeing that in there. And then inside of Google Ads, where you want to go let's follow these steps, is you want to go over to goals, conversion actions. So inside of Google Ads, so make sure that you've gone into analytics, into settings, into events, and marked the new conversion as a key event. Then you want to go to goals, conversions, create a conversion action, and we want to go to import. And that's a Google Analytics 4 web continue. Now, as I said, you won't see this because I've already imported this, but remember that can take 24 hours before you see this. Now, what it'll look like, so I've got some screen shares for you, is that when I have selected that option in here, you'll see it select up here. You just click the select. So that's form submit, press input and continue. But remembering what I said, it can take up to 24 hours before that new conversion action to appear. So as long as you've set it live as a key event in Google Analytics, and then you've tested it and published it in Google Tag Manager, 24 hours, you'll see that conversion set up live. If you don't see it live, you just need to go through and double check. Have you set it as a key event inside of Google Analytics? And have you pushed it live in Google Tag Manager? The last thing you want to do is you want to activate enhanced conversions. To activate enhanced conversions, go to goals, settings. You need to accept the customer terms to be able to achieve this, and then you turn on enhanced conversions. So we've already gone through and accepted these. Just make sure that you go through and follow those settings. So in the settings page, go to goals, settings, view through conversions is where you need to go into. And what you need to make sure, as I said, if you haven't accepted these, you'll have to accept these data terms. Then from there, you need to turn on the enhanced conversions, and then you can go through and press save because your conversion actions are all set up in your Google Ads campaign.